Allora ragazzi, benvenuti in questo quinto episodio dell'Urbe Dimenticata. Oggi ho intenzione di fare una serie di obiettivi delle missioni, tra cui quello di parlare con Sentio e comunicargli tutto quello che abbiamo scoperto e vedere anche le altre missioni, tipo quelle di parlare con Equetia e con altri personaggi. Diciamo le missioni che abbiamo accumulato negli episodi precedenti. E sperando di riuscire a farcela, sempre appunto sperando che non ci siano eventi strani in gioco. Comunque, senza ulteriori indugi, io direi come sempre di far partire la sigla. Ah, bene, eccoci qui. Proprio in direzione della villa di Sentio. Andiamo.
Keep an eye out for Santilla, would you?
Oggi ho deciso di laggare il gioco, dai. Stiamo bene. Tu?
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
Sono Marcello, anzi, I am Marcello. And we have this conversation before. Abbiamo già avuto questa
Wait.
conversazione.
If I understand correctly, someone is about to break the golden rule, forcing me to create a portal in time to bring you here? I must have entrusted you with figuring out who the culprit is. Only, I assume we failed, and you have to start over. Is that about right? If so, what happened?
I couldn't stop it from being broken. I broke it.
You broke it. Why in Pluto's name would you do that?
I was trying to save someone's life.
It seems you failed spectacularly. Look, it's unfortunate, but all that matters now is that you make use of what you've learned and gathered and do better next time. Now, I assume you sought me out again for a reason.
Vediamo un po'. Vorrei farti qualche domanda a proposito delle mie investigazioni. Ah, queste risposte saranno disponibili più tardi. Vabbè.
Now, was there something else you wanted to discuss?
Vorresti rilassare Dully?
Releasing him is out of the question, I'm afraid. That man is a liability we simply cannot afford. Perhaps you're not aware he was caught multiple times, sneaking around in places he should not have been.
Cosa ha fatto
Look, I can see
esattamente?
where you're going with this. You think me cruel. I assure you that is not the case. You may not be aware of this, but it was not so long ago, during the Republic, the law of the 12 tables would have required that he be killed as soon as he was born, owing to his deformities. Here we see to it that he has food, water and shelter, and most importantly, he is able to continue living. A privilege that would be taken away from all of us were he to be released and committed.
Ok, quindi durante la
crime of
Repubblica c'era
trespass.
questa legge
The man has no
del taglione.
self-discipline
No, del
or
taglione,
comprehension of what is going on around him, and is an
Sì, forse del taglione.
incorrigible rule breaker. I will not jeopardize the lives
No, credo
of
se
my
parlava del
people
fatto
so
delle
that one man
formazioni
can go
oppure
free.
dei ladri.
Now, was there something else? Thank you.
Torniamo
I'll be
dopo, dai.
waiting here for news. If you're snooping around in my possessions, you're wasting your time.
Qui non c'è nulla. Questa non possiamo prenderla. Qui vabbè c'è il balcone.
Oh, don't mind me. I just live here. Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want? I'm Sentia, eldest
Chiediamogli la
daughter
sua
of the
storia.
magistrate. But what are you...
Beh, questo già lo sappiamo.
Ugh, what it is... Well, that... I don't know.
Posso aiutarti? Ok. Tuo padre non ha menzionato nulla di questa storia quando ho parlato con lui.
That doesn't
Hai qualche
surprise
idea
me.
sul
To
perché?
him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done. So you'll help
Vabbè,
me
andiamo,
find
dai.
her. Oh, you should probably take a look through her room. It's the one just by the front door. Thank you.
Va bene. Ora dobbiamo andare ad indagare nella stanza di Sentilla. Ulpius. Ah. Sentilla ha scritto perché ha deciso di scappare.
Ugh, this
Comunque mi sono
place
appena
has become
accorto
a
che la prima volta
thoroughfare.
per 14 denari ho fatto ammazzare tutti.
What have
Bellissimo.
you discovered?
Ho trovato una lettera nella sua stanza che menziona il suo piano di fuga.
What? Really? I swear, I searched her room top to bottom and never saw that. I wonder how I could have missed it. Strange, but well done, I suppose. But it's odd. It was only a few months ago that Sentilla's friend Yulia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here.
Sì, perché
You should
Giulia
go and
è
speak
quasi
with her.
morta.
Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
Giulia è lì e invece Ulpius è qui. Agli antipodi della società.
Keep an eye out for Sentilla, would you?
Ulpius, aspetta. Fermati.
Shalom.
Possiamo parlare a proposito di Sentilla?
Sentilla and I were in love. And then, 22 days ago,
Ah, proprio ha tenuto il conto. Perché non iniziamo dall'inizio?
all right. One night a few months ago, when I was cleaning Malleolus's villa, I heard a young woman singing. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. I wasn't allowed out, so once everyone else was asleep, I climbed up the inside of the villa and onto the roof, just to see where that sound was coming from. And that's when I saw her. Standing in the garden of the magistrate's villa, I just sat there on the roof, listening to her with my chin on my knees. And for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. And then she looked up and saw me and she smiled.
E così è iniziato tutto, si è
I
innamorato.
knew at that moment the fates had brought me to her. And from the moment she asked my name with this warmth and curiosity, I knew I'd have done anything for her. And so for weeks on end, each night I'd climb out of the villa and into her father's garden. We'd hold hands and talk about all the things we'd do once we got out of here. Like having our own vineyard. And then one morning I woke up and everyone was out searching for her. They said she'd vanished in the night. All I could do
Ah, è
was
sparita
keep my
nella
head
notte,
down
quindi.
and try to hide how
Come una ladra.
beside myself I was.
It is possible she was escaped somehow. Possibile che sia scappata
All I know is she
per
loved
qualche
me.
altro motivo.
And if she had known a way out, she would have told me. She'd never have taken her own life. And there's no way anybody could have killed her under the golden rule. I can't prove it, but I just know she's still alive somehow. Even now, it's as if I can hear her voice in my head, crying out to me. That can only mean one thing. Somebody abducted her. I have no idea how, or who would want to do something like that to such a sweet, lovely girl. But what else could have happened?
Hai qualche idea su cosa possa averla
My
presa?
guess? Malleolus had something to do with it. He is without doubt the most evil man I have
Il
ever
più
known.
cattivo
I
uomo
have
che abbiamo
no idea
incontrato.
where he'd be keeping her, but there is one room in his villa, upstairs, which is always locked. I've never seen the
Lo
inside of
so,
it,
io l'ho aperto.
and I haven't been able to steal a key without breaking the golden rule. But I have a feeling that if you could get in there somehow, it would shed light on a great many things.
Ho già provato questo. Non c'era la firma di Sentile in
Really?
questo.
I was
non
sure
c'era
he was
Sentile in
hiding
quella
something
stanza.
in there. I feel like I've looked everywhere. At least everywhere I could get to. There are still two places I've never been able to reach. First, the palace. If Navia managed to get in, then I suppose Scintilla could have too. The only other place she could be is somewhere in the cistern network. I remember hearing that Dooley had been poking around in the
Cerca
upper
nel
cistern
palazzo
before
tracce
he
di
was locked up.
Sentilla.
So you could ask him about it, I suppose. All right, friend.
Perfetto.
Thanks for the chat.
La porta? Ah. Cosa c'è qui? C'è uno scheletro. Ah. Se io provassi a questo? Dobbiamo entrarci. Assolutamente. La prossima volta che facciamo partire, che rompiamo la legge dell'oro, dobbiamo entrare lì.
Welcome.
Name's Rufius.
Ah,
Watch
Rufus.
your step.
È cattivo.
Can't talk long.
Qual è la tua
To
storia?
stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions, the sixth,
La sesta legione.
one they call ironclads.
Come sei finito qui?
Same way as everyone else.
Perché se tieni ancora la tua armatura da legionario?
Is it not obvious?
Legionario. Perché non hai armi?
Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now.
Non hai molta voglia di parlare tu,
What
eh?
I am, you wouldn't be either.
Tradotto letteralmente così. Allora. Soffri di
Nobody's supposed
reumatismi?
to know about that. Did Lucretia tell you?
Sì, segreto professionale proprio addio.
Gah. Look, I haven't been at my best lately. All my joints ache constantly, and the pain. It has a way of messing with your head. I get stirred up by things that shouldn't bother me, and then there's the statues, and my doubts about my faith. And I just want to scream. You want to help me? Do what Lucretia hasn't been able to do. And find me something to make the pain go away. Until then, get out of my face.
Fino a quel... Trova qualcosa che mi aiuti a curarmi. Fino a quel momento vai via dalla mia faccia. Stammi lontano.
Feeling all right? Sure. What
Parliamo
do you want to know?
di Giulia. Ti ha detto qualcosa a proposito di una fuga?
How did you know that? Yes, she did mutter something about the only way out. A few times, but nothing more than that, I'm afraid.
Sai se lei è stata avvelenata oppure si è
Do you
autoavvelenata?
really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
Parliamo di
Gladly.
qualcos'altro. Quindi non sa se lei si è avvelenata oppure è stata avvelenata.
Oh no.
È normale che lei stato mi parli,
Sorry,
no?
I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad.
Parlami di
Well,
Nevia, che è quella
she
che
used to
si è
run the
rinchiusa
clinic.
in quel grande
She was
edificio
a
che
midwife,
c'è
not a physician,
quando usciamo
but
sulla
she was the
sinistra.
closest thing we had down here, and she was good too, until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying, but I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from
Beh, quindi si è
terrible
chiusa
rheumatism.
dall'interno,
His
si è
joints
chiusa
are inflamed
all'interno e
and
se
he's
lo
in
porta
constant
dall'interno
pain.
perché non voleva...
He's become so irritable. I just
Vabbè. Diciamo non voleva essere presa ancora per pazza. Comunque, adesso vediamo un po' di missioni. Dobbiamo trovare un modo per entrare nel palazzo. Tiene un arco. Ah, poi devo parlare con questi due.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know.
Ma dimmi, da dove arriva questo tuo accento molto esotico? La mia nazione non esiste ancora, ma presto esisterà.
Is this a riddle, or perhaps you mean to say you feel like you are ahead of your time? I feel the same way. Another reason for us to stick together. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps? That
Per
might
chi voterai?
is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Ah, tell Sentius your suspect Domitius.
But of course,
Parliamo di qualcos'altro. Devo andare. Anzi, chiediamogli qual è la sua storia e poi
Hello
andiamo via.
again.
Hello
My
again.
story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Perché
You
un
mean to say,
Taylor si è
with all
stoppato
the
qui?
turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
It does seems kind of necessary.
I'll
Unnecessary.
tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
Sì,
Oh,
agree.
and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best. Anything you
Parliamo
like.
di qualcos'altro e andiamo via, dai.
This part of my shop is off limits, even for you, my sartorial friend.
Andiamo con lui.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's
Ma
impossible
sei
to
tu
pronounce
tedesco?
for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did. Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Dimmi della storia di questa
Oh,
città.
I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
Ah, è greco, non è romano l'edificio più antico.
Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Dimmi dell'architettura di questa città.
Personally, my
È
favorite
interessante
thing about
parlare
this
con lui
place
perché
is the
ci
aqueducts.
spiega un po',
No
diciamo,
series
l'origine
of
di
adjoining
tutto.
arches.
Tutta la
An
città.
ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm.
If they bring water into the city, cold... Ah, se lei porta l'acqua in città, possiamo usarla per scappare.
Not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow.
Ah.
Just please try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Sì, un po' più discreto, vabbè. Dimmi a proposito del tempio.
This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And
E quindi la porta è stata chiusa, l'obelisco è stato distrutto. È come il tempio di Saturno a Roma, potrebbe essere pieno di tesori.
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Novia Magus, you
Novia
expect to get
Magus, dove? Sul
hostility.
Reno, probabilmente.
The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
Quindi si è scappato perché non era tollerata questa cosa tra i Batavi, che penso è una tribù, diciamo, del sud della Germania, più o meno. Sorry.
Nice of you to say, but not necessary.
Mi spiace
In any
avertelo
case,
chiesto.
the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
Sai cosa hanno scritto i
It's not
graffiti?
just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cristi?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year.
Bene, ha detto, i cultisti hanno un solo dio e lui considera me un peccatore. Perfetto, bene.
Eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
I think I already know what is it.
Really?
Credo già di sapere il tutto. Rufus, I found an incomplete letter to you in... E Rufus, ho trovato una lettera incompleta verso di te nella sua casa, indirizzata a te nella tua casa.
That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it? I would
Non
talk
ancora.
to him myself, but I think that would just inflame the situation. It's probably best if you do it, if you don't mind. Well,
Perché io te ne?
Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
Il suo voto non è in vendita, vabbè. Devo trovare più persone da corrompere. Perché non vuole parlare?
How much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons.
Stanno parlando di un
in the city.
arco?
We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
Ehi!
Salve, stranger.
Vogliamo
and
parlare di
welcome to an
quell'arco?
idyllic little slice of the empire. Very well.
Salve. Any new? Have you? I would. Nice.
Vabbè, lui quindi è architetto, fabbro, fa tutto lui. Ah, una pala per gli oggetti bollenti. Questo triclinio si è distrutto. Vabbè.
Salve.
Ah, la cosa interessante è che stiamo parlando di un arco, quindi probabilmente potremmo trovarne uno. Ma... ah, oh. Un piccolo... un piccolo stecchetto con una spugna attaccata sopra. Questo è quello che i romani usavano come carta igienica. Ed era usato per per un uso comune. È meglio che tu lo metta giù. Bene. Ah sì, qui possiamo salire. Mhm. Giulia.
Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. Galerius just saved my life. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
C'è qualcosa a proposito della scomparsa di
No.
Scintilla?
I did hear from Ulpius that she disappeared.
Oggi è stato un
Very
episodio un
sad.
po' così di
She was
dialoghi.
such a lovely young
Però
woman.
dobbiamo andare avanti nella
But
storia.
I'd been locked in Malleolus's villa for months before she went missing, so I can't help you, I'm afraid.
Scintilla ha menzionato il tuo piano per scappare alcuni
I
mesi fa.
was. And look
Di
where it
alcuni mesi
got
fa.
me.
Che cosa è
I
successo?
can tell you, but it's a long story.
Ho tutto il giorno libero.
All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend.
Ma sempre
I
questi
told her
2000
it took
denari
me
tornano
years to
sempre.
save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did.
Perché
I
ha
had
voluto
to
così
sign
tanti
an
soldi?
agreement
Perché voleva così
saying
tanti
I'd
soldi?
work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia. And she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock. It's a deadly
Chi è Hemlock?
poison made from a plant. Drink this, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black
È stata
eyes.
ingannata.
And
Vabbè, ingannata.
she laughed.
Sapeva che era veleno.
She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only, he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
Sure let world have broken the Gorilla rule.
That's what I said.
Sicuro che
to
non
the
abbia distrutto
magistrate.
la legge
I
dell'oro.
went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said
Sì, comunque
the
ci sta
war
parlando
was
adesso di questo
clear.
fatto qui che
I'd signed over my labor.
lei ha
I thought about
l'hanno
being
ingannata,
locked
lei ha
with
dato
his
quei
wife
2000
thought
denari,
I'd be on
ha
my
bevuto quella
hat, those
pozione e si è
two
sentita
took
male.
everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing. My hemlock.
Ah, quindi vabbè, l'hanno confiscato per una serie di cose, tranne
I
l'Amlock.
just wanted it to be over. But it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it.
E quindi si è autoavvelenata.
Don't
Non
you
sei
think I
esattamente
know
innocente
that?
in tutto
I
questo.
brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
Vabbè.
Well, it seems the gods have decided I've
Quindi
suffered
cosa
long
ti
enough.
succederà adesso?
Because not long ago, Ulpius told me I've been freed from my debt bondage. So I suppose I'm just going to rest for a while longer. I feel like I've earned it. All right.
Ok, andiamo. E qui c'è Ulpia. L'arco dell'assassino. Ah sì, quello che entra in città. Trovo un arco, sì, cavolo. Vediamo.
Be careful who you trust.
Ah, lei ci ha detto a noi, fai attenzione a chi ti fidi. Perfetto. Vero, dove sta indicando? Di qua. Ma non posso passare. Di qua posso salire? No. Perfetto. Vediamo un po' le missioni che abbiamo. Potremmo fare questa. Facciamo questo, il peccatore. Proviamo con Rufus. A proposito dei tuoi reumatismi.
I bring it up then.
Ho trovato un trattato, ok.
No idea what you're talking about?
I know quel che fai. I know it was you. I found an incomplete ah, so che sei tu. Ho trovato una lettera incompleta nel
Yes,
tuo
so
quartiere,
what?
nei tuoi quartieri.
What are you going to do about it?
Voglio solo chiederti di fermarti.
And why should I? The one true God says that for man to lie with another man is an abomination. His presence here is a threat to us all.
Beh, già con questo diciamo che se tu dici che per l'unico Dio un uomo come un uomo è un'aberrazione, vuol dire che non sei un vero cristiano, ecco.
Well,
Sono degli ipocriti.
I don't know. Maybe God hasn't noticed yet. But when he does, we're going to have a problem.
Seems to me your agitation is a bigger there than Virgil's personal affair. The gods of Rome don't care about homosexuality. So why would they care about Virgil?
There's only one true God. And he laid waste to Sodom and Gomorrah. Because of exactly this kind of thing.
What was it that said, und others as you would have them do on you? Magistrato sa che sei un cultista.
I don't like where this is going.
Minaccia. Lascia Virgilio. Lascia Virgil lascia stare Virgil o lo dirò a tutti.
I have no idea what you're talking about. And unless you want your jaw broken, I think it's best if you don't ever talk to me again.
Ma quindi
I have nothing to...
vediamo che fa. Non so se sono riuscito a risolverlo, credo di no. Attenzione. Se adesso parte la Golden Ruler, guarda. Se adesso si rompe la Golden Ruler. Perché lo va a picchiare, è palese. È incazzatissimo. Che fa? Vabbè, parliamo
Sometimes I
con lui.
stare at the any have you
Yes.
I'm sure you'll figure something out. Please don't give up. Nice to talk to you.
Il problema è che adesso con Rufus non possiamo più parlare. Dovremmo far ripartire il ciclo.
Wonder how much one of these
Scusa, ma con lui non posso avere tipo, non so.
I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, some people are. You mean how did I end up? All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of. See, about 7.
Sì, sì.
So I gather my all the way down to the river. I'm elbowing for a step, but the captain's no, too heavy.
You chose the girl, right?
The girl? Weren't you listening? All my valuables or the girl? I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the car, and I guess you realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber.
So you took her with you
No,
after
I
all.
dived in after it, of course.
Quindi
I
ti
didn't
ha
pay
parlato
attention. That was a
con
bloody
lui.
fortune. Only, I guess when I came to, I...
Sì. Parla di qualcuno che ha menzionato il soldo. Commiserazione.
But it turns out it might have been... Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just... Very well.
Dove andiamo? Comunque devo trovare un modo anche per... a parte vabbè Rufus, là che è rimasta la missione. Devo trovare un modo per... A parte vabbè trovare un arco. Poi andare a parlare anche con Equetia. Devo farci queste missioni qui per poter andare avanti, se no rimaniamo bloccati in questo punto. Però adesso, prima di tutto, io andrei a distruggere un'altra volta la legge dell'oro per poter scoprire cosa c'è in quella stanza e poi andrei a chiudere.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Prima rifarci tutto. No, io voglio passare. Puoi passare, non mi fa passare. Vabbè, ammazzami, dai. Siamo diventati oro. Vabbè, quindi non possiamo scoprire cosa c'è in quella... No, da qua. No, da qua no. Vabbè, dai. Io non ci voglio credere. Vabbè, poi raggiungerò di nuovo lo stesso punto che abbiamo raggiunto adesso. Bene ragazzi, quindi per questo episodio era tutto. Io spero che vi siate divertiti e che comunque, diciamo, vi siete interessati anche di più alla storia, perché adesso stiamo entrando di più nel gioco. Certo, ci sono molti dialoghi in questo momento, però penso che poi più avanti potrebbe essercene di meno. Anche perché poi ci saranno anche missioni più action, secondo me. Però alla fine, diciamo, così si sapeva, perché il gioco è basato sulla narrazione, non tanto sulle fasi action. Non è uno Skyrim, diciamo, è una cosa a parte. Quindi, io spero di rivedervi in un prossimo video. Vi ricordo di iscrivervi al canale, lasciare un mi piace, attivare la campanellina e lasciare un commento. E in più vi ricordo che tutti i miei social sono come sempre o in descrizione del video o nelle info del canale. In più vi ricordo che sono anche in live dal lunedì al venerdì dalle 21 alle 23:30 su Twitch. E come ultima cosa spero di rivedervi in un prossimo video. Ad maiora.